Record. Welcome everyone to another mini-sode of the SBA show. Today I would like to welcome back Julia Hall from McCormacks, Australia, and today she's going to educate us on their ForeverBreathe system. For those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Hamish White, one of the founding members of Sustainable Builders Alliance and director of Sanctum Homes, and I'm going to be your host for today. In the spirit of reconciliation, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend our respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of today. Now, Julia, welcome back.
Thank you.
Are a bit of an old hat at the webinars for SBA, aren't you?
I feel like I'm becoming famous.
You basically are famous, for sure. I'm going to make you famous. I know our last webinar that we had with you, we did want to get to the ForeverBreathe system, and I thought we would get you back because it's a pretty cool system. So I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. I'm going to throw it over to you and tell us all about the ForeverBreathe system.
Perfect. Thanks, Hamish. I will jump straight in. The ForeverBreathe specification is what I'll take you through today, and this really is just about building healthy homes, but also making them accessible to everyone. So a little bit of background around health-based building. We have a joint venture with them. They're based in New Zealand, and New Zealand are a long way ahead of us due to the leaky home syndrome they have over there, where the inside of the walls caused by condensation and moisture they end up rotting. So what is ForeverBreathe? So the best way for me to describe it is that it is homes that breathe, and that's just me making an analogy. That's what it feels like to me. It's no mold, no VOC buildup, no CO2 buildup, no silica, less plastic on site and less waste on site. So better experience for the home owner and better experience for the builder. And I'm going to jump straight into a quick 2-minute video.
The building industry does massive downstream damage to the state of our environment. And up until now, there has been very little we could do if we wanted to build new with the convenience of a large design and build company. Considering we, human beings, spend up to 90% of our lives enclosed in buildings, and the walls, floor, doors, etc. tend to be synthetic, chemically processed or treated, wouldn't you want more? This thinking led us to create health-based building. What's that? Let's look around, and I'll tell you all about the future of construction and living a better life indoors. This home has been built to ForeverBreathe specification standard at the same cost as a typical new house build. That's because our team has spent hundreds, actually thousands of hours identifying the best building materials to use when building a healthy home. At Health-Based Building, we think of ourselves as champions of healthy and sustainable life spaces. Working in consultation with you, your architect and your building team, we help you to create a healthy living environment that gets the most out of available natural resources and creates a viable, sustainable ecosystem. We will show you about breathable construction, keeping in heat while establishing excellent indoor air quality. You see, the best thing about our work is that you can have an energy-efficient home as well as a healthy one. Everything down to the paint has been carefully selected and developed to ensure a healthier way of living from day one. Health-Based Building will partner with you to ensure you get maximum use out of your space and show you the healthiest way to build without hours of search time. Because we've done it all for you. We will also introduce you to tools such as indoor air quality monitors, which measure air quality, empowering you to take action to improve the air quality. Whether you're building, renovating, or simply changing around a few things, Health-Based Building is here to provide you with the information and products that make your space a healthy place.
So as you could see in the video, Health-Based Building is obviously the ForeverBreathe specification becomes part of that. To really simplify it, I pulled this out of the video. So essentially your specification is a normal 90 mil stud wall with Magnum board 9mm on either side of that. That creates your rigid air barrier. You use natural sheep's wool insulation, and we recommend Terralana. And then you have a 25mm cavity or batten on the outside of that system, which gives you some ventilation, and you can either have cladding or brick or even a rendered panel on the outside of that. Of course, from a paint point of view, it's important to use either ForeverBreathe paint or a vapor permeable paint. There's quite a lot of mineral paints available on the market now, so that we get this system where the VOCs and CO2 can actually move through that system. That's really important. Some interesting facts about this home. So the home that you saw in the video was our ForeverBreathe home based in Christchurch in New Zealand. So the heater you see on the wall there is one small heater for a 3-bedroom house. It keeps that around 25 degrees all year round and about 40% relative humidity. So it's a pretty amazing system, and there's 2 solar panels on the roof that keep that going from a power point of view. So really, really simple system. We'll delve into some of the products so that you know what's available in the range. Magnum board products, you guys have heard me speak about this before, but they all have a 30-year warranty, and the products include a weatherboard, a flooring underlay, and the Easy Line, which are those wall sheets that are really important to the ForeverBreathe specification. So the Easy Line itself is a rigid board, so you end up with less waste on side. They're high impact resistance, which means that they don't break easily, so you don't get any of that wibbly wobbliness you do with normal plasterboard type products. They are mold resistant, so they're suitable for wet areas and all of your home, and of course interior, exterior, otherwise it couldn't be used in ForeverBreathe. And you can get them in a rebated edge, so it's not like you're having to change your whole system to go to Magnum board. You're able to still do your base coat and your top coat as you normally would. The flooring underlay is a tongue and groove for easy installation, and just like most of the other products you use in this type of space, it's a 2700 by 600 and it's 18mm thick. Really easy to install with nails or screw, and we recommend Simpson Strong Tie with a quick drive because it just makes your life and your back will thank you. And of course that's mold resistant as well. We do have certification through a credit mark on the flooring system, which means obviously that we're underwriting that process. You just need to keep all of those records of the job. And Magnum board weatherboards, of course, you've got that beautiful paint finish, mold and insect proof, coil nail installation with we recommend a Cladmate because it just means that it's a 1-person job. And we also have an Accredit Mark certification for this system. So again, keep your photos of your different areas of your job and make sure you've ticked off your checklist so that that Accredit Mark certification covers your job. And very importantly, you install the bevel to the stud or the batten every single time. So obviously in the ForeverBreathe system, you'd be installing the weatherboards onto that 25mm batten. Now, I just want to talk about where would we use this kind of system. And obviously, most builders are dealing with Class 1 or Resi, and it is perfect for normal homes. Now, in New Zealand, we see over 50 homes built this way every single year. There are builders like Premier that only build with the ForeverBreathe system, and that's because they totally believe in it. They want to be building better homes for their clients. And I really encourage you to have a look at their website as well, but it's also obviously going to be a really good option for your schools. If we think about NDIS, you know, these are our most vulnerable Australians, and we want to put them in a good home. We don't want them, you know, being in some cheap thing that we've managed to cut some corners on. So this is where it really comes into its own. Obviously, governments, councils, tiny homes is a really good opportunity. And if you're looking for something that's more environmentally friendly, we know that on site we have a lot of waste, and we're obviously working towards how do we help around that topic. But building with ForeverBreathe, you're taking obviously a lot of that plastic out of the build, and you're not getting the waste that you normally would, because all of the products are very deliberate and you're cutting off what you don't need. You're not getting the breakage and that waste on site. Also, interestingly, obviously, because Magnum board products are non-combustible with zero flame spread, it means that they're suitable to use in bushfire areas and in flood zones. We see that a lot actually in America as well. So I feel like I've possibly raced through some of that, Hamish, but if you wanted to jump into any of your questions.
No, look, this is perfect. That's perfect, Julia. I mean, as I said, we're trying to keep these nice and short so people can kind of watch them when they're sitting down, after they put the kids to bed. So that's totally fine. I've got one question for you. I always put my passive house hat on when I see stuff like this. And tell me, how do you manage ventilation with ForeverBreathe? Because I immediately think we need an HRV in this.
Yeah, so with ventilation, obviously you still have, so with, maybe I go back a step. So with ForeverBreathe, we tend to get around, we aim for 2.7 to 3 air exchanges per hour. And obviously with Passive House, you guys are getting down around, under 1 air exchange per hour. Ventilation is handled through the ForeverBreathe system. You've still got your kitchen exhaust, you've got your bathroom exhaust, you've got the toilets, and of course we have windows and doors. Now, we know that as humans, we live in our homes, we don't keep the houses locked up. So there's always going to be ventilation coming in and out. And all of the work that we've done with, so those little Yoo-hoo meters that you saw on the video, they actually keep track of the VOCs, the CO2, all of those different things, the moisture, the humidity in the home, which obviously if you didn't have ventilation at all, CO2 would be one that would definitely be increasing.
Absolutely, it would.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a question about the wall assembly, and it's probably going to just stray a tiny little bit from the question I've got in front of me. But as a wall assembly system, what kind of R values are you getting for that entire wall system? And it probably leads me to my original question of, does the mag board actually have R values? So what does that entire system have?
Yes.
What's the R value in that system? Is that a curly one for you?
It is. I've got the R values for the Magnum board, but I didn't get the R value for the wall system.
Well, I mean, I guess you could probably
on that one.
No, look, I do apologise. Look, I guess it really would depend on what thickness stud that you have. I mean, in a 90 mil.
So we normally
90 mil stud.
Yeah. So in New Zealand, they actually build fairly standard with a 140 stud, whereas in Australia, we do a 90 mil. 90 mil is fine. And then you have your Terralana. So with the Terralana insulation, you do get higher R values. And I'm sorry, I don't know them off the top of my head. But the 9 mil Magnum board has an R value of 0.0432. So obviously you've got 2 of those, and then you'll have your Terralana, which, I mean, as a minimum, you need 2.4, I think, in the wall from memory. And if it's higher than that, so, I mean, you're pushing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Magnum has a better R value than, say, a plasterboard or a fibre cement board. So if you're making a comparison, Hamish, that's probably the easiest way to compare it.
Awesome. Now, silica is very topical here in Australia now. Does the Magnum board contain silica? Like, is it safe to cut?
So obviously, when you cut anything like this that produces dust, regardless of whether it's silica or not, we want you wearing a mask. And I often go to site and see people with their mask here, or their mask here, or their mask in the car. Not going to help you
Kind
guys.
of reminds me of COVID times when people are just having
Well,
their
that's
nose
true,
hanging over the
isn't
top of it.
it? Really important still to wear a mask, but no, Magnavoard doesn't contain silica, and that's obviously quite topical at the moment. But you know, it's still, it has timber fibers, it has magnesium oxide. These are not things that you should be breathing in either. And when you are cutting with a fine blade, diamond tip blade, you're creating dust. So we still want you to wear that mask.
And take another step further, just with good construction practices, chuck a vacuum on the end of it.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Yeah. Now, big question: how much does it cost? How much does it all
So,
cost? All of
so
it.
to the end user, so we haven't built a ForeverBreathe house in Australia yet. So I had a look at the New Zealand numbers, and it's about 3,200 per square meter to the customer. So if we think about that versus other homes that are selling in New Zealand, it's around the same price.
Right. So it probably is not the best guide for if we're listening to this in Australia, because obviously construction prices change even from state to state here, and even in
They do.
depending on what locations you are.
Yeah.
I mean, that does seem very competitive here. So maybe maybe just a case by case kind of example might be
Can I put it out there? If there is a builder that is willing to do a bill of materials and costing for a current build of theirs and do a ForeverBreathe spec price bill of materials and comparison, that's really what I'm chasing, Hamish. So we've got 2 that are in design currently, but we're not at the bill of materials point yet.
Now, I'm going to ask for your email contact shortly. So if anyone is interested, can I get them to get in contact with you? Oh, look, there it is. Here's one you prepared earlier. Perfect.
Here's one I prepared earlier, exactly. For my email address, it's just juliah@mccormacksaustralia.com.au. So if anybody is willing to do that, or if anybody's interested in building a ForeverBreathe home, then definitely happy to take an email or call me through the office.
Amazing. Well, look, it sounds like a pretty cool system. Like I think what I find really exciting about this space is I think we're going to see more and more of these kinds of things play out over the next over the coming years, where everyone's actually caring about the health of the building. This is not just about comfort; it's also about health as well. Julia, thank you so much for coming on again. I have no doubt this is not going to be the last time that we, with the Sustainable Builders Alliance and McCormacks, do an event together. If anyone wants to get full episodes of our webinars or any of the other mini-sodes that we've got, and a whole bunch of other cool information, including our podcast, don't forget to check out www.thesba.com.au. And there's a ton of super valuable free information on there. Julia, thank you so much, and we'll catch everybody on the next mini-sode.
Sounds good. Thanks, Hamish.
No worries. Bye.